Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I have the Fimi X8 SE 2020 drone with me today, and I'm going to take it back up and I want to check out the horizon. Now, there is a manual horizon adjustment that you can do. I looked at that with my drone and I saw it was a couple degrees off, so I adjusted it, and we'll see how that does. And then also that last firmware update, we tried it out after that firmware update and I still had just a little bit of a tilt to my horizon. That was a very windy day. There's a little bit of wind today, but it's not too bad, so we'll check it out. And I've heard a lot of people talk about this six-sided calibration that you can do with this drone, and you have to get some kind of permission from Fimi to do it, and they have to enable it on your drone. Here's what I'm going to say about that. I don't think you should have to jump through those kind of hoops to have a good experience with a drone that you paid for. So in any case, I'm going to try it just like this, and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, I've got the drone fired up and it looks like we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and check our safety menu. GPS is normal, compass normal, magnetic environment weak, IMU is normal, battery is normal, gimbal is normal, so looks like we're good to go. Check the camera menu real quick, and it always defaults to medium video quality, and I always put it on high. And evidently that must take more processing power because they want you to revert to medium when you're doing some of the intelligent flight modes. So in fact, you know what, I'm going to put it back to medium because we might try some of that stuff, some of the intelligent flight modes, and we might as well just leave it on medium. We're not so worried about top quality video on this particular flight. We're interested in the horizon level, and if that looks good, we'll check out some other stuff here. So so it looks like we're in good shape there. Let's get out of that. Let's go back into here, and I want to show you the firmware package on this guy. And yeah, that last flight control update was 1028D, so that's the one that was supposed to correct firmware problems, so you can see that. And then let's go into the gimbal settings here, and I'll show you under advanced settings. I did the 3-axis adjustment. I'm going to click that so I can show it to you, and I'm not going to save anything. We're going to exit out there, but you can see on the R axis I put it to minus 2.2 degrees, and that was level. I had the drone on a level counter in my house and then looking at a straight edge, and that seemed to be it. Now you're seeing a little bit of a tilt in the tarmac here. So, and actually, you know, if I'm looking at how it's, if you look at that grid line as compared to the cell phone tower there, it is a little off, isn't it? So let's see if we can adjust that right now. Yeah, that seems to be making it worse. Let's back it back down, and we should be able to, in theory, get it straight with that cell phone tower, because we know that's perpendicular, right? That looks pretty good to me right there. So that's going to be pretty darn close. So let's save that. That's kind of cool that you guys got to see that. So let's calibrate now. So it's going through the calibration. So this is good. We'll see a gimbal calibration here, and then you guys can kind of see what you go through. Now, like I said, at home I had a straight edge across and I thought I had it perfect there, but clearly just then you saw it looking at that cell phone tower, which is perpendicular, and we're on a flat sidewalk here, so shouldn't be an issue. And at 60% we should get that gimbal vibration error that everybody gets. We'll see it here in a second. You watch when we get to 60%. And there it is, drone vibration detected. It does that every time. So anyway, calibration succeed, it says. So we're going to click OK. We're going to get out of there, and then the gimbal recalibrates itself. And you know, I'm looking at that straight line up against the cell phone tower, and it looks good. We're getting a gimbal not ready error. Now that went away. Let's go ahead and check that safety menu again. Look down at gimbal. Gimbal is normal, so I'd say we're good to go. Let's go ahead and start recording now, and we're in 4K 30 frames per second. And I don't believe I chose HDR. Let me look here. Video mode. Yeah, I'm just in video. So what the heck, let's go into HDR. We're at the time of day the sun's getting low, so let's put it in HDR, and let's start recording 4K 30 frames per second. And I'm going to go ahead and hit takeoff on the controller here. I love the way it kicks. I'm just going to say I like the way this guy kicks the props. And it is, we'll leave it hang there for a second because we'll try out precision landing, or precise landing, I think is how Fimi words it. Okay, that's had enough time. Let's turn it around and bring it down. I thought I slowed down that the yaw adjustment, but it still seems pretty quick there. In fact, let's just go ahead and do that real quick here. We might as well look at how to do that. Whoops, sorry about that. Under controls here, we should be able to go down to, no, I thought it was in controls. I might be wrong. Yeah, gain and expo tuning sensitivity. So we can go yaw sensitivity there. I moved it down, thinking I would slow it down. Let's let me bring it back in front of the camera here. Let's try that. We got it. That's still pretty quick. Okay, let's move it up then and see what that does. Well, that doesn't seem to change anything. So, I don't know. Move it back down to 30% and we'll leave it at that. The yaw speed seems to stay the same there, so I might be doing something wrong. Yaw distance is going to be how far it overshoots when you let go of the stick. But in any case, let's quit messing around with that. Let's get this guy in the air. And I see some people back there with some dogs, so we're going to have to kind of avoid where they're at. But in fact, I'm going to point the drone off a little different direction. So let's drop the gimbal down, getting ready for this. Reverse and up now, reverse and up. And we'll get way up there. And there's some people walking on the trail with their dogs, so we want to avoid that. And we're heading right into the sun here. Let me pick the gimbal up. And boy, that's a flat horizon if I ever saw it. Look at that. That's pretty good. Let's go straight forward and head into the horizon. And you see it kind of pick up slightly there from where we had it adjusted, but that's not too bad. We're going full tilt. We're at about 12 meters per second, which is pretty quick. I had a little blockiness on FPV there. Okay, we're going to stop right there. We're not going to go over the over that street out there. And I turned the GoPro down here so we can get the microphone pointed at me. I don't have my wireless smart mic. Now, as you can see, we do have a little, just a tiny little bit of horizon tilt there. You know, that's not bad. That's nothing that I'm going to call unacceptable. And watch as I yaw around, look at it straighten itself out. So that's fine. Let's yaw back the other way. And I'm going to do a quick yaw. And yeah, now that sent it moving. Now see, that's okay because that's a temporary thing. You know, you're yawing the drone and you get a little temporary tilt. A lot of drones are going to do that, so no complaints there. So let's go back, and again, we're looking right into the sun, so don't judge this camera on that, but boy, that looks good, doesn't it? I'm telling you, that's me picking the gimbal back up. It might be just a little bit, but boy, not much at all. I got no complaints there. Yeah, okay, let's fly off this direction and see how she looks. And let's fly around a little bit here. Boy, a little bit of breakup on FPV there. And you see those people down there with the dogs. I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to fly over the top of anybody. Let's go over the top of the school over here. This is such a fun, fast drone. This thing is just really fun to fly, I gotta tell you. And the controls are just really nice and smooth on it. It's not quite what DJI does, but it's darn close. Really, I really like the controls on this drone. And I like the controller. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say we're in pretty darn good shape with this Horizon. I am not seeing anything that gives me a lot of cause. Now, you know, as I'm yawing here, you see just a little bit of tilt, but I mean, it's not much at all. So we're good. Okay, let's turn around here and let's come back the other way again. And one of the things that I want to do, in fact, let me get it back over the school grounds here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some sideways flight. And that's one of the things that you can tell, particularly I noticed on this drone, when you flew this drone sideways, many times that would send the gimbal into a tizzy. So we're going to go full stick to the drone's right now. And boy, I'm watching the drone in the sky. It is tilted over sideways. And let's let go of the stick now. And look at that. You would never know it on the gimbal. Boy, that's good. All right. You know what? I'm starting to make a believer out of me. Okay, let's go back the other way now. We're going to go to the drone's left, and a big wind just came up, so that's good. That'll test it. Clear to the left. And the drone is flying sideways now, 90 degrees sideways. I'm looking at it in the sky, and it's tilted over that way. And you know, we got a little bit of tilt in the horizon there, but man, if that's as bad as it gets, we're good. So watch when I yaw around. I guarantee you that will flatten out. And look at that. As soon as I gave it a little bit of yaw, it flattened out that horizon. And mind you, that was full stick that direction. So, and I'm seeing as I yaw to the right here, we're getting just a little hint of a tilt, but not bad at all. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining what I see there. If that's as bad as it gets, that's pretty darn good. So let's go full stick forward here. And then we're going to do some flying around and see how the yaw does. This is full tilt, and then we're going to go to the drone's right and go back the other way. And sorry for those quick movements, but again, I'm trying to stress this gimbal out. And then I hit the brakes there, and boy, does the drone hit the brakes. I'm watching it up there. It was pretty cool. Okay, so let's do something else here. And again, you know, the point of what we're trying to do here is stress out this this gimbal forward and backwards. Okay, let's get down and take a look at our favorite cell phone tower here. And we're down about 30 meters off the ground. Let's get closer to this guy. And I'm going to drop the gimbal down just a tad, so we got that as the center. And I'm going to try and do a manual orbit. So pardon the amateur behind the wheel here. So this is a manual orbit. I'm doing this with the sticks, and we want to see what that does to the horizon. I'll tell you, looking darn good. These are the kind of movements that will send your horizon off. And boy, we're doing just fine. And sorry for that. I'm trying to hold that right in the center, and you know, I'm not as good as some people. Anyway, okay, so there we are. Let's I'm going to drop the gimbal down here, and let's do a little droney off the top of the cell phone tower. So we're going to go reverse and up now, and I'm dropping the gimbal as we go. And picking it back up now, and giving you guys the lay of the land here. And we are at, ooh, we went just a little bit, yeah, we're about 60 meters high. Okay. Let's try full tilt forward again. Mind you, this is not even in sport mode. This is an amazing drone. We're just in normal mode here, guys. Just think if you put this thing in sport mode. It is fun to fly. I've always enjoyed flying this drone. And let's see if we can do a yaw around here. I don't want to go over the top of these people's yards here, so I'm trying to stay over the school grounds. There we go. And of course, what you're looking at here is we're looking into the sun, so take that into account as well. Boy, I mean, I'm telling you, I am purposely doing some aggressive flying here, trying to mess up the gimbal, and it's just not. It looks good. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go to the left here. I'm both sticks to the left, to the right stick to the right and the left stick to the left here. And look at that. It's holding a good horizon. Man, oh man. I like it. Okay, so let's try an automated flight mode here and just see what this guy does. What I can do here is get up on the cell phone tower, and let's try and do, I think they call it a spiral. DJI would call it a helix. Let me move in here. Drop some altitude, and the drone is just right in front of me. Okay, so we're kind of centered on that guy. So let's go into, you click on the little thing. It just looks like a little Android at the bottom there, and that takes you into the intelligent flight modes. Yeah, and spiral. So let's click on spiral, and I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you have to fly to the top above whatever your center is going to be. So let's, yeah, please fly to the top of the center. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to drop the camera as we move forward here and see if we can get right over the top of it. And pretty close. I overshot it just a little. Back it up. Okay, that should be right over the top of it. And one of the things that I want to show you here, let's kick that camera back up. If I can remember how to do that. Well, I was trying to do it on the 5-way switch, but often when you have the camera pointed straight down and then you pick it up, you'll have a little bit of gimbal tilt. That happens on a lot of drones, but look at this, it's perfect. Okay, so we're setting the center. I'm going to click Set Center in the top right-hand corner. Then we're going to back off. And you have to be, I think it's over 5 meters or 8 meters or something like that for it to work. Let's get a ways out here. Okay, that's probably good. Don't want to be too far. And that's me dropping the gimbal back down. And I want to maybe yaw. Yeah, okay, set that just at the center. Drop the gimbal just a little bit more, and it looks like it overshot it just a little. Okay, and then I'm going to click in the top right again, that next arrow, and then radius. Let's go clockwise, and I'm going to turn on auto return so it'll go back to its spot. Let's set it a fairly good radius there, and we're going to click go, and off it goes. It's taken a second. Yeah, there it took it, and it's not quite holding that center, is it? A little bit. It's kind of pushing it off to the edge a little bit. But what we'll see is the drone will orbit, and then it will raise in altitude, and it will increase its distance all at the same time. I'm a little disappointed here that it's not that we didn't hold the cell phone tower more in the center of the frame, but it was kind of weird when it started off there. It kind of moved to the side without rotating the drone. But it's a good effect. This is one of my favorites. You know what I'm looking on here is, like, if you did this kind of a automated flight mode, boy, I'm looking at the drone up there, it's cool. If you did this kind of automated flight mode with DJI, it would tell you how far you went. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be over here in a second, and I told it to return, so it's now returning to where we started. And of course we weren't looking up, so you really couldn't you couldn't tell much on the horizon there. But we'll pick the gimbal back up there. Yeah, so it says spiral mission completed. Let's pick that gimbal back up. And we're still nice and flat. Boy, I'm very, very pleased. Little bit of stutter on the FPV screen there as I push the stick forward. And full stop. So I'm going to go I'm going to reverse and turn here. I'm just trying to do some abrupt maneuvers. And look at that. That was probably the most that we've been able to throw that gimbal off right there. And I was in full reverse, and then I had the yaw to the left. But look at it flatten itself back out. Man, if that's as bad as it gets, that's pretty darn good. That's going to throw a lot of drones off, that kind of maneuver. And like I said, I'm kind of doing this on purpose to try and stress this thing out. Boy, I am happy. And of course, we don't have a lot of wind today, so that's going to play into it. But yeah, not bad. Okay, we're going to do a hard yaw here. Full tilt forward, hard yaw. Yeah, look at that. There we got a little bit of we got it to yeah, but look at it, just flattens right out. But I mean, that, let me tell you, I was full stick forward and with the left stick all the way to the left. So that's pretty darn good. Okay, let's back this guy up. I'm going to go full reverse. We're down to about 32% battery. I'm going to say that's good enough. Let's what do you say? Let's see if we can get a precision landing here. Let's back it up a little bit more. Okay, that's good enough. And then I'm going to hit return to home here on the app, and return to home. And let me drop the gimbal down so as we get closer, and it's coming back down to 30% battery. So yeah, it's wanting to come home anyway. And let's see how close we get here. Okay, that gimbal's pointed straight down. And what's interesting about this drone is that it's actually going to look for that landing pad, and it'll, if it, you know, we're kind of close to the tree here, but we're okay. I'm thinking it's close enough, it's going to spot that landing pad. Let me get out of the way of the camera so you can see it when it comes down. And it's still, yeah, so see, it found it, and look at it adjust. Yeah, and it'll do some pretty radical adjustments to get on that pad, but it sees it. Yeah, it's trying. I'm gonna pick the gimbal back up here, so we're not gonna see that. I don't want that gimbal pointed down when it lands, but you can see it on the GoPro here. And we are not quite on. I mean, we've got 2 legs on and 2 legs off the pad, so I'm gonna call that a win. What I'm going to tell you is what I've noticed with this drone in particular. A lot of drones, like when they get down, DJI does it, I know the Skydio does it, they get that about that last few inches and they just all but kill the motors. This guy slows them down slowly, and I think it creates a cushion of air that pushes the drone off from that exact precise landing. I've seen it happen several times before. That's just a theory. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's kind of what I see. Like I said, what I noticed, like with a DJI drone, when it's in that final few inches, it all but just kills the motor so that the drone comes right down. Skydio does that, absolutely. You watch the Skydio come down when it's trying to land on the little Skydio insignia on the case. That last foot, it's just almost a drop. It just kills the motors and it comes right down. But in any case, let me get everything shut down and we'll do a conclusion here. Hey, okie dokie, the Fimi X8 SE 2020. I think that's the best result that I've ever had with regard to that horizon being stable. I did everything I could to try and throw the horizon off on this drone, flying it sideways, doing abrupt movements, high-speed movements, quick yaws, everything I could think of to throw that horizon off. A couple of times we got it to move a little bit, but then it came right back immediately. That's perfectly acceptable. I'm pretty tickled. This is the best result that I've had yet with the horizon staying straight on this drone. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I, you know, we got to, it gave us the opportunity to show how those manual adjustments work on the gimbal. And like I said, I'd adjusted it at home, but you saw when we fired it up here, when it was looking at that perpendicular cell phone tower, it was off a little bit. So we adjusted it to where it was straight with that. And I don't know if that was it or not, but it sure seems to have helped. In any case, yeah, it was just a good flight. So, and you got to also see how the calibration works on this guy too. The gimbal, just the regular gimbal calibration. So, anyway, I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, honestly, I do appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we'll see you on the next one. The Fimi X8 SE 2020. You know, I'll be flying this drone a lot more now. All right, see you later.